Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Always fun.
This time,
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about Formula One,
Okay.
the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
It's a good one.
We got a lot of articles lined up,
Yeah.
lots of stuff to unpack,
Lots to talk about.
championship battles,
Of course.
driver updates,
Always something happening.
team news.
For sure.
So
Yeah. This is going to be a fun one.
get ready.
Yeah. There are a lot of storylines kind of converging here,
Yeah.
making this Grand Prix, I think,
Yeah.
particularly exciting.
Yeah.
We've got potential championship deciders.
Right.
We've got underdogs
Uh-huh.
making a run for the title.
Yeah.
And, of course, the pure spectacle
Right.
of Formula One cars
Yeah.
in Vegas.
Yeah. Roaring through the heart of Vegas.
Who would have thought?
Okay.
So,
Let's start with Max Verstappen.
okay,
He is so close
he is.
to winning his 4th world championship.
He's on the brink.
And Vegas could be
Yeah.
his moment.
It could be.
I was reading that if he wins the championship, is his.
That's right.
It's that simple.
If he wins in Vegas, he wins the whole thing.
Wow.
It's amazing. To put this into perspective,
Okay.
Verstappen has secured 62 wins
Wow.
and 40 pole positions in his career.
That's crazy.
It's putting him in the league with legends
Yeah.
like Vettel, Prost, Fangio, Hamilton, and Schumacher.
Wow.
Yeah, he's definitely on track to be one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, he's not just winning.
No.
He's dominating.
He's dominating.
And it sounds like he's got this incredible intensity,
He does.
fueling his performance.
Right.
I was reading this article about how he completely lost it
Oh, yeah.
after qualifying in Interlagos.
Oh, I remember that.
And he even said he wanted to destroy the garage.
Yeah, it was intense.
But then just hours later,
Right.
he comes back and wins the race.
Get real.
That's pretty incredible.
I mean, some people are suggesting that
Yeah.
he thrives under pressure.
This-
And some are even saying that he drives better when he's angry.
Really?
It's almost like he can channel that frustration
Yeah.
into focus and aggression
Right.
on the track.
Mm.
And his rivals are aware of this.
I bet they are.
They know when he's angry
Yeah.
to watch out.
It's not just about raw talent.
Right.
It's about mental resilience
Mm-hmm.
and that competitive fire.
Absolutely.
Do you think that anger
Yeah.
translates into like specific driving techniques
Oh, that's interesting.
or strategies, or is it more of just a mindset?
Well, I think it's got to be a combination of both.
Yeah.
For example, in Interlagos,
Yeah,
his anger seemed to push him to take more risks.
I see.
There was one overtake, I remember watching it,
Oh, wow.
where he went for a gap that a lot of drivers
Yeah.
wouldn't even consider. He was
Yeah.
just on the edge,
Yeah.
but he made it work.
Wow.
So I think that calculated risk-taking, fueled by his desire to prove himself,
Oh, yeah.
that's part of what makes him so formidable.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And let's not forget,
Right.
there's still one driver
Yeah.
who is mathematically
Right.
still in the running
It's a long shot.
to challenge Verstappen
Yeah.
for the title,
Very long shot.
Lando Norris.
Yeah.
But he has got a very, very steep climb ahead of him.
Yeah, he does.
What would it take for Norris to pull off this upset?
Well, Norris has had a phenomenal season.
He has.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But to keep his championship hopes alive,
Right.
he needs to outscore Verstappen by at least 3 points
In Vegas.
in Vegas,
Okay.
which is a tall order
Yeah.
considering Verstappen's consistency
Right.
and the performance of his Red Bull car.
It seems like everything would have to go perfectly for Norris.
Perfectly for Norris.
And maybe a little bit sideways for Verstappen.
Exactly. Norris would need to win,
Okay.
and Verstappen would need to finish lower than 6th.
Wow.
It's not impossible,
Yeah.
but it's highly improbable.
Okay, so Verstappen's individual championship
Right.
seems pretty much in the bag.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
Yeah.
the Constructor Championship
Right.
is a whole different story.
Different story.
We've got a tight three-way battle
Yeah.
between McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull.
3-way.
What makes this battle so compelling?
Well, for starters,
Yeah.
the points difference between them is razor thin.
Okay.
Just 49 points separating the 3 teams.
Wow.
And then you have the historical context.
No.
McLaren hasn't won the Constructor Championship since
Mhm.
1998.
It's a long time.
And Ferrari hasn't won since 2008.
Wow.
So there's a lot of weight on their shoulders, a
Yeah.
lot of expectation from
Mhm.
the fans, from the teams
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
The pressure is immense.
it is.
So
Yeah.
how do you see this battle playing out?
Well,
Who do you think has the edge going into Vegas?
it's a tough one to call.
Yeah.
McLaren's rise this season has been incredible.
Yeah.
They were at the back of the grid
Right.
just a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and now they're fighting for the championship.
Yeah. It's a real underdog story.
It is.
And those are always exciting to watch.
Yeah, sure.
But can they maintain that momentum,
Yeah, that's the question.
especially in Vegas?
Right.
I read that they struggled there last year.
They did. They didn't have the best results last year in Vegas.
Okay.
And they also had a bit of a dip in performance recently in Brazil.
Right. So there's some questions.
Yeah, some question marks about their consistency.
About their consistency, exactly.
For sure.
But then you have Ferrari,
Right.
a team with a history
Yeah.
of strong performance
Yeah.
on street circuits.
Exactly.
Like Vegas.
Like Vegas?
They secured a pole position
They did.
and a podium finish last year.
Yeah. They're going to be feeling confident.
So they should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, their car seems to be well suited
Yeah.
to the tight, twisty nature
Yeah.
of street circuits. And they've got two very capable drivers
Yeah.
in Leclerc and Sainz,
Right.
both hungry for a win.
And let's not forget Red Bull.
Right?
They might be leading the championship right now,
They are.
but they really need Sergio Perez
Yeah.
to step up his game.
They need him to contribute more consistently
Contribute, yeah.
if they want to hold on to that lead.
Yeah, for sure. Perez has had some strong races,
Has.
but he just hasn't been able to match
Yeah.
Verstappen's level of performance.
Not quite.
Red Bull needs him
Yeah.
to start finishing consistently
At least in the top 5.
in the top 5.
If they want to secure that Constructor Championship.
Okay, so we've got three teams,
With different strengths
different strength,
and weaknesses.
all within striking distance
Oh, right there.
of the championship.
Yeah.
It's going to be fascinating to watch this unfold
Absolutely.
in Vegas.
And speaking of Vegas,
Yes.
this race is unlike any other
Yeah.
on the calendar.
Okay.
It's a high-speed spectacle
Yeah.
set against the backdrop
Right.
of one of the most iconic cities
Yeah.
in the world.
It's hard to top.
It is. It's hard to top Vegas.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with Formula One,
Mm-hmm.
this is held on a street circuit,
Yes.
which means the track is laid out
Right? On public roads.
on public roads.
Closed off for the race.
Wow. I can only imagine the atmosphere.
It's electric.
Cars flying past casinos,
glow.
hotels
Unbelievable.
at speeds exceeding 300-kilometer-hour.
It's a sensory overload
Wow.
in the best way possible.
But it's got to be incredibly challenging for the drivers.
Oh, it's so challenging. I
Yeah.
mean, street circuits are
Yeah.
notoriously tight and twisty
Okay.
with unforgiving walls.
Yeah.
Very little room for error.
So it's this combination
Yeah.
of spectacle
It is.
and skill,
And skill.
which is what makes Formula One so compelling to watch.
It's what brings the people back.
All right, so let's move on to some team and driver updates.
Okay.
There have been some significant personnel changes
Yes.
at Aston Martin,
Big changes.
with Adrian Newey coming on board as technical director.
Huge.
Newey is a bit of a legend
He is a bit of a legend.
in the F1 world.
In the F1 world.
Right.
Yeah, he's
He's
designed
designed some of the most dominant cars
some of the most dominant
in
cars
Formula One history.
in F1 history.
So his arrival,
yeah.
along with Enrico Cardio,
Right.
who was previously at Ferrari,
Yeah, exciting.
is a clear indication that Aston Martin is serious
Very serious.
about moving up the grid.
Absolutely.
But Newey's primary focus is on the 2026 car,
That's right.
when the new engine regulations
Yeah.
come into effect.
Big changes coming.
So what impact can he realistically have
Right.
on the current car's performance?
Well, even though his main focus is on the future,
Right.
his expertise and experience
Yeah.
can still benefit the team in the short term.
Okay.
He's got a wealth of knowledge
I bet.
about aerodynamics and chassis design,
Yeah.
which could help Aston Martin improve
Okay.
the current car's setup.
So it's not just about designing a new car.
No.
It's about bringing this winning mentality
Exactly.
to the entire team.
To the team?
I read that even just having someone like Newey
Right.
in the garage
Yeah.
can be a huge morale booster.
Huge morale booster.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The psychological impact of
Yeah.
having a high-profile figure like that
Mhm.
can be significant.
Right.
It instills a belief
Yeah.
in the team that they can achieve great things.
Yeah. It's fascinating how much of a team sport
It is.
Formula One really is.
It really is.
You need the right driver.
You do.
You need the right car,
Absolutely.
but also the right people
the right people
behind the scenes
behind the scenes.
to make it all work.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so another team
Right.
making a big change for 2026
Mm-hmm.
is Alpine.
Interesting.
They've decided to switch to Mercedes engines.
Wow. That seems like a pretty significant move.
Yeah.
What's the thinking behind that?
Well, Alpine has been developing their own engines.
Right.
But it's a very expensive and resource-intensive
It is.
undertaking.
It is.
So by switching to Mercedes engines,
Okay.
they can save a significant amount of money
I see.
and focus those resources
Okay.
on other areas,
Right.
like improving their chassis
Mm-hmm.
and aerodynamics.
That makes sense.
So they're basically becoming
Okay.
a customer team,
A customer team.
buying engines from
Yeah.
another manufacturer
Rather than building their own.
rather than building their own. It's interesting because
Yeah.
there's often this perception
Right.
that customer teams are at a disadvantage.
I mean, there's always that perception, but
McLaren has shown that you can be a customer team
right.
and still be incredibly competitive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It all comes down to how well you integrate the engine into your car and how effectively you utilize the resources you have.
Right.
McLaren has done a fantastic job
Yeah.
of maximizing their partnership with Mercedes.
Right.
And Alpine will be hoping
Sure.
to replicate that success.
So 2026 is shaping up to be
Yeah.
a major turning point
It is.
in Formula One.
Yeah.
New engine regulations,
Yeah.
a shakeup in the team dynamics.
A shakeup for sure.
But before we get
Yeah.
too far ahead of ourselves,
Right.
let's get back to the present
Okay.
and talk about one driver
Yeah.
who's been quietly
Okay.
undergoing a transformation.
Interesting. Who we're talking about?
Valtteri Bottas?
Bottas. Yeah.
Bottas has always been a talented driver,
He has.
but it seems like he's really come into his own
Since leaving Mercedes.
since leaving Mercedes.
Yeah.
I was reading an article
Okay.
about how he's become much more outgoing
Interesting.
and expressive.
Yeah.
A far cry from
Yeah.
the reserved personality he was known for
Right.
earlier in his career.
Yeah, it's like a whole new Bottas.
Yeah, he even got a tattoo
Did he really?
that says what's next.
Wow.
So it seems like he's embracing
Good for him.
this new chapter in his life,
Yeah.
both on and off the track.
I love that. He's become a real fan favorite.
Yeah, he seems
His attitude's infectious.
it seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah.
It's great to see a driver finding that balance, and enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap things up, I have to ask
Okay.
for an update
Of course.
on our F1 Nation fantasy team.
Oh, yeah.
How are we doing?
Well, let's just say it's been a learning experience.
Okay.
Our initial strategy hasn't quite panned out
Yeah.
as we hoped.
That's putting it mildly.
It is.
We're currently languishing
Yes.
in the top half
We're hanging in there.
of a 300,000 team league,
It's a big league.
a full 1,500 points
Yeah.
behind the leader.
It's a lot of points.
Yeah,
We've had some unfortunate driver
Yeah.
selections
we
with a
have.
few strategic missteps
Right.
along the way.
But that's the beauty of fantasy sports.
You learn.
It's all about learning and adapting.
You adapt.
So for Vegas,
Yeah.
we're making some bold moves.
Okay, I like it.
We're swapping out Lewis Hamilton
Okay.
for Charles Leclerc,
All right.
and we're benching Williams for Alpine.
Wow. Big changes.
Big changes.
I like it.
Yeah, we're hoping
Yeah.
that Leclerc's performance
Mm-hmm.
on street circuits will give us an edge.
Makes sense.
And with Alpine's
Yeah.
recent rise in form,
They've been looking good.
we think they have the potential
Yeah.
to score some solid points.
Yeah. I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Okay,
So,
let's move on
okay.
to the main event.
All right.
Who do you think will win the Las Vegas Grand Prix?
Based on everything we've talked about,
Yeah?
I'm going to have to go with Charles Leclerc.
Okay.
I think he's got a strong track record
Yeah.
on street circuits, and Ferrari seems to have a setup
Right.
that works well in Vegas.
They did get pole position
They did.
and a podium finish last year.
Last year.
That's a solid pick.
Yeah.
But couldn't Carlos Sainz
Oh, yeah.
be a contender as well?
He could.
He was on pace last year
He was.
before a grid penalty.
Right.
Kind of put him on the back foot.
That's right. Yeah, Sainz is definitely a dark horse
Yeah,
in this race.
for sure.
He's got the speed,
Yeah.
the talent to challenge for the win,
Absolutely.
especially if he can avoid those
Yeah.
early setbacks.
And of course, we can never count out
No.
Max
Once
Verstappen,
Verstappen.
even if he doesn't need to win
Right.
to clinch the championship.
Right.
He's always a threat.
He's always a threat. He just has that drive
Yep.
to win every race.
It doesn't matter the circumstances.
No.
He's a fierce competitor.
Fierce competitor.
He never gives up.
Never gives up.
So we've got a potential,
It seems like
Threat.
three-way battle for the win.
a three-way battle between Leclerc,
Yep.
Sainz,
Uh-huh.
and Verstappen.
This is exciting.
That is exciting.
And remember, this is Vegas.
Right.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Under the bright lights.
Under the bright lights of the Strip.
That's what makes Formula One so unpredictable
Yeah.
and so thrilling.
Before we let you go,
Yeah.
we always like to leave our listeners
Mm-hmm.
with something to ponder.
Of course.
We've talked about the individual drivers and teams,
Yeah.
but let's zoom out for a moment.
I like it.
What about the broader narrative
Yeah.
of Formula One?
Formula One.
What's so fascinating is how the sport
I know.
has exploded in popularity.
It's amazing.
In recent years,
Yeah.
particularly in the U.S.,
Right.
it's become this global phenomenon,
Oh, the phenomenon.
attracting millions of fans.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
It's a good question. It's probably a combination of factors.
Yeah.
I mean, the drivers are incredibly skilled athletes.
Right.
Pushing themselves.
Yeah.
Their machines to the limit.
To the absolute limit.
The technology is mind-blowing.
It is.
These cars represent the pinnacle of engineering.
Absolutely.
And then there's just the element of competition, the drama, the rivalries.
Right.
It's a compelling mix.
It keeps people on the edge of their seats.
For sure. And don't forget the human element behind all the technology and the speed.
Yeah.
There are real people with their own stories, their own struggles, and their own triumphs.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so relatable, even for those who aren't die-hard racing fans.
So as you watch the Las Vegas Grand Prix unfold, think about which team or driver storyline you're most invested in.
Yeah.
And consider what it is about Formula One that captivates you.
That draws you in.
That draws you into this world of speed, technology, and competition.
It's a sport that's constantly evolving.
It is.
Pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Absolutely.
And who knows what surprises
I know.
await us in Vegas.
Thanks for joining us
Always a pleasure.
for this deep dive
Yeah.
into the world of Formula One.
One of the best.
We'll be back soon
All right.
with another deep dive
Can't wait.
into a different topic.
Sounds good.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning,
Keep learning.
and keep asking questions.
Absolutely.